These are three of some of the most budget-friendly and popular drones on the market today. The Holy Stone HS420 Mini, the Holy Stone HS440, and the Holy Stone HS175D. All of these are under $200, and I'm going to be reviewing them to see what they're really capable of. I'll be flying them indoors and outdoors, and also testing their cameras, flight times, and special features. So if you're thinking about buying a drone for your family, friends, or yourself without breaking the bank, make sure to watch this video. And stick around until the end because we're going to be giving away one of these drones to a lucky winner. So more details to come. Let's start with the cheapest drone. For $50, the HS420 Mini comes with a controller, which requires 3 AAA batteries, one HS420 Mini, 2 batteries, a set of backup propellers, a screwdriver, a propeller spanner, and a USB charging cable for the drone batteries. Okay, so this is the HS420 Mini. It is the smallest, lightest, and cheapest of all 3 drones. It comes in at $50, gives you 2 batteries. Each battery is about 6 minutes of flight time, so total of 12 minutes of flight time. It comes with a camera, so you can take pictures and video. It can do some pretty cool tricks, spins, flips, everything like that. It has little bumpers around it, so you can't really cut yourself, and it also can hit into stuff and it'll just bounce right off. So we're gonna test it out, fly it indoors and outdoors. I'm really excited to test this one out. It looks like a lot of fun, and I think a lot of kids or beginners in general would love to have this drone. So let's see what it does. So let's first turn it on, turn the controller on, and then we're going to push the left stick up and then down to calibrate it to connect it to the drone. And then we can go into our Wi-Fi settings and connect to the Holy Stone FPV, and then we can go to our app, the Holy Stone FPV app. We can click sign in, skip, enter device, and this is a non-GPS model. And there we go, and there's me. Hello. So let's put this down on the landing pad. And for this drone, we are going to, instead of pushing down and inward on the sticks, you push up and outward on the sticks. So like that, propellers start, and we can take off. And again, we can just press one button to take off, just like that, and we're up in the air. This camera quality is not that bad considering how cheap of a drone it is. I mean, it's honestly more impressive that this drone does have a camera at all, I would say. And it looks like it is getting pulled by the wind a little bit. And again, it's a very light breeze out, and I'm having trouble just pushing this drone forward just because this drone is extremely affected by the wind, but that makes sense because it is a very small and light drone. If you could see that, that's a little flip it can do. So that's a pretty cool little trick you can do. Again, this one is more of just like a little toy drone, but it can give you an experience of what it's like to fly a drone. Same, controls for the most part for spinning it, moving it up and down, sideways, all like that. But it can do some pretty cool tricks like that. Honestly, this is one of the funnest drones out of the 3 that I've gotten to fly, just because it has some pretty cool tricks. It does have a pretty nice little camera feature. We can try and take a video by long pressing the video and photo button, and it's recording right now. And we are recording on a $50 drone, and it is flying outside, and it is doing a pretty good job, I will say. So that's pretty impressive. Let's do a flip on camera, see what that looks like. Awesome. For the price of this drone, for the size of this drone, it honestly impresses me a lot. This is be a great gift for your kids that want to just get a little interested in flying drones. I would say definitely get this one just because it is so cheap. It has so many cool features. You can take pictures with it, and it flies pretty well, especially indoors. You can't really hurt yourself with this drone. There's guards on the propellers, so as soon as you touch it, the propellers don't hit you, so you can't cut yourself. And you can land it really easily just on your hand like this, and the propellers stop. And there is a mode where you can throw it up and it should just start flying. You just hold it flat and then you throw it up and it starts. So that's a pretty fun way to take a drone off. You can't say you can do that with other models, so that's pretty cool. Let's see if we can do the spin again. If you long press that spin button, now it's gonna do a very slow spin, but it is going away from me a little bit, and we're at low battery. And yeah, you can do all of that, for only $50. I think that's a great deal. We are going to test out the HS4 Mini inside right now. So this is an inside drone. It is advertised as that, so we're gonna try it out. I wouldn't recommend it with bigger drones, but this drone seems to be perfect. It has little bumper guards on the sides of the propellers, so it can bump into stuff, and it looks like it could be fine. But hopefully, let's not crash anything today. And it's fine. And just push it up a little more. I can take a picture. There's a little photo button right here. There is a special feature called like a spin mode. I'm not gonna do it close to me, but click this and it starts spinning, just like that. And then disengage, all you do is just press the controller on the right side and it'll stop. And I can move it up and down as it spins. So that's pretty cool. You can catch it in the palm of your hand. So if I move this back, and it stops. And then you can throw it up again, and it works. Oh, hit the ceiling a little bit, fly around a little bit. See, we can get close to the camera if we want. Oh, it hit the lens, okay. That's fine. There's another cool mode called headless mode. So right now there's a front and a back to the drone. So if I want to move backward, or if I'd want to move like right or left, it's going to be opposite because the front of the drone is facing me. If you don't want to think like that, it can be pretty confusing, especially for beginners. There is a headless mode, which means that whatever way I push it, it's going to go that way. So it's facing away from me technically. I go right, it goes right. If I spin it around and I go right, it goes right also. So that's a really cool way for beginners just to fly it wherever they want it to go and not have to think where the front and back of the drone is. And then just to stop that, you just press the button again and it goes back to normal. There is also an emergency land. So if you press this button right here, it'll just immediately just start going toward the ground and stop, just like that. And of course, you can fit the HS420 Mini, as there is a Mini in its name. It is extremely small. This could definitely fit in your pocket, just like this, and you honestly wouldn't even know it's in your pocket. For $100, the HS440 comes with a carrying case, one HS440, a controller, which requires 3 AAA batteries, 1 battery, a screwdriver, backup propellers, and a USB charging cable for the drone battery. All right, guys, so we are going to be testing out the 440 now. And this is the middle of the 2 drones, so it costs about $100. It comes with 1 battery, and just from the looks of it, it seems like it'll be a great beginner drone for most people that just want a little step up from the HS420 Mini, which is kind of labeled as a toy drone. So we're gonna take this up in the air and see what it can do. So first, you just press controller, power on, and press the power button on the drone. And just like all of these drones, to connect the controller and the drone, all we're going to do is move the left stick up and down. So up, down, and now the lights stop blinking. They are connected and we can start to fly. All right, and then we can connect to the app once the drone and controller are linked. So we're gonna go to the Wi-Fi settings and we are going to wait for Holy Stone FPV to pop up. And there it is, okay. So it just popped up, as you can see right there. Then we're gonna go to the Holy Stone FPV app, sign in. We can just click skip, enter device, and click non-GPS model because it is a non-GPS drone. And there we go. We can see what the drone's looking at. My hand's going through it. So the camera feed is live. Now we're going to start the propellers by pushing down on the sticks, down and inward. And because it's in grass, I'm raising it up with the box of the drone just so the propellers don't hit the blades of grass and it gets stuck. So that's just a useful tip if flying in grass. So we're going to launch the drone and push the left stick up and it's flying. So overall, it's flying pretty well. There is some wind to it and you can see it's drifting a little bit. Like I'll push it to here. And right now I'm not touching the controller at all. And let's just see how much it moves. So it is drifting a fair amount, but not that bad. And just keep an eye on where it's going. But so far it's pretty easy to fly, move around. And there are some trees around, so I just have to be careful not to hit anything. Just make sure you're aware of your surroundings, everything like that. And the camera feed looks a little glitchy right now. I'm not totally sure why. The drone is acting fine, it's just the camera quality has stopped. I'm gonna land it real quick to see where the camera and video quality is. There's the camera. Hopefully it doesn't cut out again. We'll see. So again, we're just gonna start the propellers. And there is a button to take off. You can just press this little up button and the drone starts. So that's pretty cool. Let's try and take a picture. There we go, we heard the little click. And we can take a video by long pressing the picture and video button. And now we can see a little red light blinking in the corner. It's recording. So we can wave, we can spin around, we can go up a little bit. Let's see what's around us. There is a little dial where you can adjust the gimbal, which is pretty nice. And it does look like the connection went out. I've flown this drone a few other times and it hasn't done this before, so I'm not totally sure why it keeps cutting out. It might get a little choppy if I fly a little far away, but it's never just stopped before like this twice. So I'm not totally sure why it's stopping, but overall, again, I mean, you can see just how pretty nice it is to fly. There isn't that much wind out today, and I definitely would recommend not flying in wind, just because these drones are very light and very small. So they're not made to withstand that much wind. But overall, the setup time, as you can see, it was extremely fast. Even if you don't want the camera video quality, it would be even faster. You would just have to link the drone real quick and then take it off. So I think that's really cool how fast and easy it is to set up. And again, the only other feature that I really found was the spin mode. And you can even long press it. And now it's slowly spinning. Again, you could try and take some video with it. You might get a little dizzy, so it might just be fun to watch the drone do this, and that's about it. All right, and then we can also just press an up and down arrow button, and we can press that to land it, so we don't have to automatically land it ourselves. Again, you just press down, and it does look like now it's falling down a little bit. And make sure you're in an open area, of course, so it doesn't hit anything. Oh, and it is down. So overall, you saw how pretty easy it was to set up and to fly. Again, considering this price point, the camera worked pretty well up until it stopped connecting with the phone. It did look like the video was still recording, even though I wasn't able to see what I was recording. So I definitely would want to check that out more just to see why that happened. But yeah, overall, it was a pretty nice drone to fly. It's built pretty well. Again, you can take it off really easily, land it really easily, control it in the air for the most part, do some cool spins. I definitely would recommend this for beginners. Anybody that just wants to start flying a drone, this is a great one to start with. All right, and one last thing, I wanted to show you actually how small these drones and the controller even is. So starting with the HS440, you can see that it easily fits inside my pocket, just like that. So you definitely don't have to bring the case with you. It is a little bulky, of course, but it does fit inside your pocket, so that does give you an estimate of how big this is. And again, the controller also fits inside my pocket. It's about roughly the same size, just a little thinner. So that fits. So you could totally take this drone out with you without having to take that much else. So that's pretty nice. For $170, the HS175D comes with a carrying case, one HS175D, a controller, 2 batteries, backup propellers, 4 clasps for the extra propellers, 2 USB charging cables for the drone batteries, 1 USB charging cable for the controller, and 1 screwdriver. All right, so our last drone is the HS175D. It is the most expensive of all 3 drones, but it might be the best one. It has 4 intelligent flight features, a return to home button, a 4K camera, and brushless motors. We're gonna take it up in the air and see what it can do. All right, so once we turn the drone and controller on, now we are going to go into our Wi-Fi settings and look for Holy Stone FPV. It connects right there. And then we go to the GPS V5 app. We click prepare, put the aircraft in a horizontal position. So we're gonna put it right here. Click the calibration button when the lights will flash. When the lights go from flashing to always on. So we're just gonna leave it here. Calibration success. And then the magnetic calibration is we're going to click the calibration button and then rotate the drone horizontally like this, about 2 to 3 times. And then it says rotate vertically about 2 to 3 times. And this is just because the drone has GPS, so we have to calibrate it. So make sure it knows where it is in the air. And we can put it down. Please wait. We did, yes. And then we can push both sticks down and inward. There we go. So now the drone is on and we can take off. So just lift the left stick up and the drone is up and it's hovering. I'm not touching the controls right now. And again, this is a very great job by the drone for under $200 for it to just hover and stay in place. So that's awesome. We can click the gimbal up button to push the gimbal up, and then we can take a video, press the video button, and this drone does film in 4K UHD, which is pretty cool. So we can look at the sunset more. And if you want, you can just scroll down on the app on your phone. And I'm just holding that down. So if you want, we can get an overhead shot. Let's take the drone up. And this is pretty awesome. For how cheap this drone is, you get such a great camera in air that you can take pictures like this. Let's take another picture. Looking up at the drone, that's pretty cool. Let's take another picture. So this drone would be a really good choice for anybody that wants to just go on vacation and doesn't want to drop a lot of money on a super expensive drone. This is also great for beginners, for any kids or teenagers that are maybe expressing interest in drones and you don't want to spend close to $1,000 on one. You can spend, this is $150, $160, I believe, and this is a great drone for that price range. Super portable, super light. We can take a video, let's do that. So we're recording right now. We're doing a slow orbit. Got a beautiful background behind us, but that's what I'm talking about with if you're going on a road trip or a vacation and you just want a really small drone to take with you and you've maybe never flown drones before, this is a great thing to look into before you want to maybe go into the more expensive higher end drones. And this drone does have some pretty cool intelligent flight modes. We can test those out right now actually. So one mode that looks pretty cool is circle mode. You press this and it should circle around the subject. Make sure the field height is higher than the surrounding buildings. Yes, it is. So let's try circle mode. All right, it looks like it's beginning. You can see it's just kind of hovering and slowly moving in a circle. And I can cancel that. So now let's test out circle mode. So in the app, you can see we can choose two different variations. I'm gonna choose the first one, and then you just click that little arrow button. That's just to send the drone. And again, make sure that you are higher than anything around you. And yes, I am. And it looks like it's gonna start flying back, and then it should start to circle. And that's what it's doing. And we can even take a video to show what's happening right now with the drone. And look at that, it is circling. And it looks like it's basically just going in a circle around where the drone started. Not that big of a radius, so you don't have to worry about it trying to fly in a random direction. It looks like it's staying pretty central. And it'll just keep circling, I think, until I want it to stop. So then to cancel it, we can just press this. Another mode we can try out is a waypoint mode. So for the waypoint, I'm gonna start behind me so then it can go toward the camera. We're gonna click this button and click the waypoint button, and then we can zoom in on where we are. And I'm gonna do it to right here, that's point 1, point 2, and then let's just go back to point 3. And then we can click send, and it's gonna start. We can start recording. And as you can see, it's moving to point 1. And then once it gets to point 1, then it should go to point 2. There we go. You can see it up there a little bit. It's going to point 2, and I'm not doing anything right now with the controls. I'm just watching it go. And then now it's flying behind me, 2.3. And there we go. So we just completed that little simple waypoint. And again, you probably know you can get very experimental with it and make certain waypoints that you could try and come back at different times of the day and blend those two together, or just make more articulate waypoints. And it's really cool, especially because you don't have to do anything. Once you set the waypoints, again, I'm not touching the controller at all. The drone is doing everything for me. So yeah, that's a really nice feature. And this drone is also pretty fast, which is pretty fun. If you don't always just want to film or take pictures, you can just fly the drone around, and it is pretty cool to see how fast it can go. Let's see how fast we can go. And you see how fast that drone's going. It's pretty nice. Pretty fun thing to fly around with. You definitely notice the bumps because the drone does not have a 4-axis gimbal. It only moves up and down, so it's not really stabilizing it. You see when I'm going forward right now, so the drone is pushing downward, and the gimbal, of course, is going down with the drone. So it doesn't stabilize it that much, but overall it is a pretty good drone if you can fly a little slow, or just keep it pretty flat, or move it side to side like this. This is great. And then we can also test out one more feature, and that is the return to home. So I'm gonna fly the drone a little up and to the right, just to show you where it's starting from. So another awesome feature of this drone that makes it very simple to land is called return to home. And just as the name states, it basically means that you click this one button and the drone will automatically return to where it took off. And so I took off on this blue landing pad, so it's gonna be really easy to see how far the drone is from where it took off when I click return to home. So we're gonna click the button, return to home, and you see it fly up. That's usually just to make sure that it doesn't hit anything around it, so it usually just tries to fly higher than any objects around it. And now it's basically directly above the landing pad, and we're just going to let it drop down. Again, I'm not touching anything right now. This is all the drone doing all the work, and look how close it's getting. It might actually land directly on the landing pad. Wow, look at that. It landed on the landing pad. That feature right here is amazing. For this drone to land basically exactly where it took off from is incredible, in my opinion. Something that can be sometimes frustrating with flying any type of drone is when you're flying pretty far away, and even if you can see the drone still, sometimes it's turned away from you. So that means that if you push forward, it's gonna keep going away from you and not towards you like you would want. So if you're ever confused, you can just click the return to home button and the drone will usually fly up a ways just to make sure it doesn't run into anything, and then it will just fly back to you. So you don't have to get stressed over where you have to fly the drone over or make sure that you're going in the right direction. With just one little button, you can get the drone to basically land exactly where you took off for under $200. That is amazing. And you could see it here. This was a great example because I took off from this bright blue landing pad and it landed on the bright blue landing pad. And you don't need this landing pad. This did not help the drone at all land. It's just an easier way to take off if it's on like some dirt or rocks that we're kind of on right now. But that is amazing that this kind of drone can use return to home and it works that well. So the last intelligent flight feature we're gonna try out is the active track. In the last few days, I've been having some trouble trying to figure out how to do the active track, but I finally figured it out. Usually when you press the button, it says that you have to be in observation mode. And for the most part, I was always in GPS mode because that is what the drone always auto-configured to. But I found out the way to stay in observation mode so you can use the auto track feature, and I'm gonna show you how to do that today. We're going to turn the drone on. Then we are going to turn the controller on. We're going to pair the controller and drone by flicking the left stick up and down, just like that. And then before we do anything else, we're going to press the return to home button once. And that should pair it into observation mode. We are now going to make sure our Wi-Fi is connected. You can see it is right there. Go to the HSGPS V5 app, prepare, click calibrate, put that down, calibration success, and then calibrate this. We're going to spin now. Please take care. Yes, we will. Please wait. Yes. And now you can see in the upper left corner, it has a yellow bar and it says optical mode. This is the mode we want to be in to do active track. If it is green and it says GPS, you will not be able to do active track. I have tried multiple times. So that is why we had to press the return to home button right after we paired the controller and the drone. That is the one little step you have to do so you are in optical mode. So now we can take the drone off and try out active track. All right, well, for some reason, I've tried it 3 different times and it won't stay in optical mode. I'll probably try one more time just to make sure I'm doing everything correctly, because everything online said that you have to press the return to home button once and it stays in optical mode. Because you see, I click it and it says it's not in optical positioning, but to my understanding, there is no other button to change GPS mode to optical positioning besides the return to home function. So I'm gonna land this and calibration success. So this notification right here confuses me because I want to stay in optical positioning mode, but it won't let me. The only, I guess, way I've had it work is when I was inside my apartment, I tried it, and usually GPS and inside the house doesn't work well, so it stayed in optical positioning, but I can't imagine you have to do active track inside because that would be very difficult and you would run the risk of running your drone into a wall or something. So I really am not sure what else to do because you cannot click GPS, you can't get out of GPS mode. I don't know if I'm supposed to just skip all of the calibration setup. I could try that, I guess. The app, prepare, next, start, yes, yes, and it still goes to GPS mode even when I don't calibrate it. So I'm really not sure, because again, if you watch, this drone is in the air and it's still in GPS mode. And I want it to active track and it will not let me. For right now, I tried this like 4 or 5 different times and it never stayed in optical positioning mode. So I really don't know how you're supposed to use active track on this if it always wants to go to GPS mode. But that is something I'm still trying to figure out. Overall though, every other flight test worked really well. Every other intelligent mode worked really well. So still just trying to test out that active track feature mainly. But yeah. All right, and the last thing we were gonna do is, just like the other drones, see how well this fits inside a pocket. So it definitely does seem a little bigger than the other drones, and it bulks out pretty much. The controller's about the same size. It does still fit in your pocket, just not that well. So I don't know if you'd want to have this in your pocket when flying or just take the case or some other box. But yeah, overall they do all fit in your pocket, so that is pretty cool with how small and compact they are. So after all of that testing, here's some of my final thoughts. I think the HS420 Mini is a great toy drone if you want to get some experience flying a drone while having a lot of fun. It's super easy to set up, take off, fly, and land. I mainly recommend flying this drone indoors. It is very hard to control outside if there is any wind, and I think it's more fun to fly it inside. This drone is also very safe. It has bumpers around all of its propellers, so it can bump off things and prevent you from cutting yourself. It also has a lot of fun features like a flip mode, a spin mode, and a camera, making it great for kids to play with and fly. If you are gifting it to someone and want them to start flying it right away, you will need to charge at least one of the 2 drone batteries and have 3 AAA batteries ready to put in the controller. Moving on to the HS440, this drone is for beginners who want a little step up from a toy drone like the HS420 Mini. With the 440, you can fly it outside, and for the most part, it acts like a regular drone. It has a pretty good camera and also has a spin feature that is fun to test out. It is, however, pretty susceptible to wind, so be careful when flying and always keep an eye on it. Overall, the setup process was extremely simple. I wouldn't recommend flying indoors with this drone just because it's a little bigger and doesn't have any protection around the propellers. If you are gifting it to someone and want them to start flying it right away, you will need to charge the 1 drone battery it comes with and have 3 AAA batteries ready to put in the controller. The HS440 is also great if you are going on vacation and want something small to pack that will take pretty good photos and videos of you while traveling. Finally, the HS175D is great for beginners who want a true taste of what it's like to fly higher end models without breaking the bank. It has a nice camera, flies really well in the air, and has some fun intelligent flight features like active track, circling mode, a waypoint mode, and even return to home. As you could see in my tests, I wasn't able to try out the active track feature because it never stayed in optical positioning mode. I still didn't figure out how to activate the feature even after looking at more tutorials and reading the instructions manual. I will also add that setting up the HS175D can be a little confusing at times. I noticed that you have to go through the calibration process every time you restart the drone, which can be a little annoying. But once you get the hang of it, it becomes pretty simple, just a little time consuming. Overall, this drone hovers in the air and handles the wind better than the other 2 drones by a lot. I would highly recommend this drone for beginners who want some intelligent flight features to try out, as well as a better camera. This drone would also be great to take on vacation or a road trip, as it's pretty small and compact. And again, if you are gifting it to someone and want them to start flying it right away, you will need to charge at least 1 of the 2 drone batteries it comes with and charge the controller with the provided cables. Another side note is that all of these drones can connect to their own Wi-Fi as well as an app. The HS420 Mini and the HS440 connect to the Holy Stone FPV app, and the HS175D connects to the HS GPS V5 app. Either way, all of these drones are a lot of fun to fly around and take photos and videos with. The best part is that they're all priced under $200, which is sure to bring a smile to your wallet. One last thing to mention is that when you do get one of these drones, or any drone for that matter, and you are in the US, you need to take the recreational UAS safety test or trust if you're a recreational drone flyer. The test is completely free, it's online, and it takes about 30 minutes to complete. UAV Coach is an FAA approved tested administrator of trust, so you can take it right through our website at the link below. And finally, if you've stuck around until the end, here's how to win one of the drones reviewed in this video. Comment down below which drone you want and we'll pick a winner at random in a week. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell for more exciting drone news and tips. Also, if you have any questions or tips and tricks with any of these drones, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And if you're interested in making money with your drone by becoming a Part 107 certified pilot, make sure to check out our Drone Pilot Ground School course, which I'll put a link to in the description. As always, blue skies and safe flying. I'll see you next time. Don't hit that tree, come toward me. Nope. Oh no. Okay, so you couldn't see that on camera, but this drone did just crash into the tree. It did fall, but it looks like everything is fine otherwise. Yeah, the drone is fine, so it's pretty durable, at least for that. Come here. It's like a pet. I'm trying to just hurt it over here. So, okay. I technically lost the Holy Stone HS440. It wasn't flying forward back to me, and finally I decided I just have to drop it. It dropped in this field, and this is all thorny, pokey field, and the signal cut out right as I landed it. So I had an idea of where it was, and I have found it. It took maybe 20-ish minutes to find, so really not that bad. It is right there. There it is, and it looks like it's doing good. This is kind of just another lesson that stuff happens when flying drones, and you kind of got to just roll with it and hope for the best. In this case, it did work out, and I found the drone. I didn't expect I would find myself out in a prickly field searching for a drone today, but just happened. This kind of is similar to our drone fails challenge that we have going on right now, that this happens to all of us, even when I'm just trying to film a tutorial video on these types of drones. It can happen. So it all worked out in the end, and you can try and find a positive outlook for it. Just want to paint this experience that it happens to all of us in all different types of situations. So, yeah.